Welcome to Synagogues of Illinois, Part 24. This is our fifth installment taking a look at Jewish houses of worship and institutions in Chicago proper. We continue with our focus on the West Rogers Park area on the far north side of the city. This episode will concentrate mostly on the Jewish institutions on Touhy Avenue. Just a little west of Rockwell, we see here the Women's College. It is an institute of higher education for Orthodox women and is accredited. On the same side of the street, just west of it, is the Weitzner Cheder, a boys' elementary school operated from the Hasidic perspective. The holy subject classes are taught in Yiddish. In a prior episode, we showed the new building a few blocks away that is getting prepared for use by the school. Across the street, on the south side of the street, is the Buckingham Pavilion. It is a kosher nursing home and rehab facility, and has a synagogue on the premises with services held on a daily basis, both morning and evenings. Prayers are recited in the Nusach Hari Svardisha custom. The next block west on the north side of the street is the location for the Young Israel of West Rogers Park. Elisha Prero is the rabbi. He is also a lawyer and a musmach of Rabbi Soloveitchik at the Brisk Yeshiva. The congregation offers services only on Saturday and Sunday mornings as well as on major Jewish holidays. The congregation is one that began more than 20 years ago as the Mechitza Minyan renting space at Congregation KINS, when the latter still only had traditional services. The camera moves to the next block west, and we can see on the left or on the south side of the street there's a Jewish bookstore called Kesher Stam. It is directly across the street from another shul called Sharei Tzedek. Its founding rabbi is Reuven Gross, who had previously been a member of the Chicago Community Kollel. Staying on this block, a little further down towards the end, on the other side or the south side of the street, is a location called Kollel Ateres Ami. Its primary focus is doing outreach work to the Russian-speaking Jewish community. Its director or Rosh Kollel is Rabbi Aryeh Shulman. Prayer services are conducted there on a daily basis, both morning and evening. Well, we realized we glided past another synagogue, a storefront called Ateres Shmuel. It is a door or so away from the Kesher Stam bookstore and also across the street from the much larger Sharei Tzedek edifice. The rabbi of this Black Hat congregation is Yitzchak Brody, who had one time been a member of the Chicago Community Kollel. A year or so earlier, it had been across the street in another storefront, but took over the space vacated by Makor Chaim when it moved to its new, much larger edifice, which we will show later in this episode. The camera has returned to its westerly direction. On the next block, you can see on the south side of the street is the Chicago Mitzvah Campaign. It is a social services agency run by the Lubavitch. One of the mitzvahs it does is provide shuttle services for seniors who need to get somewhere in a safe and secure environment. The building next door is a synagogue facility for Russian-speaking Jews who have grown up in America in the Orthodox practice. Past the parking lot, the building to its west is Ohel Shalom Torah Center. It is Sephardic. It had begun in 1987 on Devon Avenue, and at that time it was called Sharei Mizrach. Its founding and still rabbi is Daniel J. Raka. It purchased this building and remodeled it in 2005. It had been previously the home of Adas Yeshurun for more than 30 years, until it moved across the street further down the block, as we will shortly show. The camera is now crossing Sacramento Avenue, and on the left side is the Bernard Horch JCC. This building was put up around 1960 or 61. It has evolved its purpose and services provided as the composition of the neighborhood has changed over the past 55 plus years. Camera continues further west, and on the right side or the north side of the street one can see Congregation Adas Yeshurun. Zev Cohn has been its rabbi since 1988. Previously, he was a founding member of the Chicago Community Kollel. The synagogue is also host to the Choshen Mishpat Kollel, whose purpose is to disseminate awareness of business conduct in the Jewish law and tradition. This congregation was founded in the very early 1970s. The building shown here was originally owned by a Reformed temple that chose to sell the building to Ort, another Jewish social services agency, rather than accept an offer from Adas Yeshurun. After a few short years, Ort realized that their member base was in another area and moved to the suburbs. They subsequently sold the building to Adas Yeshurun. We leave Tui, go a couple blocks north and then a block east to a residential side street where we can see the new home of Makor Chaim, or as known to many of the locals as simply Makor. This congregation has a triumvirate of rabbis. There is Ephraim Friedman, who is also a Dayan, or a religious judge with the Chicago Rabbinical Council. And then there is Moshe Schachter, who is the founding rabbi of this synagogue. And finally, Yaakov Robinson, the one Chicago native among the three. The synagogue was founded in 1999 and for quite a while was renting the social hall at Congregation Beth Yitzchak until it found a storefront location on Tui Avenue. The camera moves a couple blocks further north to the city limits on Howard Street. On the south side of the street is Congregation Beis Menachem Lubavitch Shul and is next door home to Chabad Lubavitch of Illinois. Baruch Epstein is the rabbi of the Shul, and Mayor Moskowitz is the regional director of Lubavitch Chabad of Illinois. He wears two hats as he is also the director of Lubavitch Chabad of Northbrook, where he lives. Yosef Moskowitz is the executive director of Lubavitch Chabad of Illinois and resides at the Chabad of Bucktown. This concludes our checking out of Jewish houses of worship and institutions in the West Rogers Park area of Chicago, Illinois proper. Any omission is unintentional. We will next check out Peterson Park area. Bye for now and see you soon.